taken care of. And hopefully we're good and going. Looks like I'm going and going. Alright. Is it reading me online yet? I can't tell. At this point, I'm so exhausted, I don't even really give a shit. Traffic has been absolutely almost farcical in the way it's been, like, around here. So today it took almost 2 hours to get home. So I'm going to be slow tonight. Very slow tonight, I'm sure. I apologize. My throat's a little sore too from screaming a lot of fucks while driving. Just add a little more. Yeah, since we didn't come in here last night, everything's starting to get a little bit of a skin. We don't want to get too much. We need that loose. A little loosey-goosey on here, you know. Nothing super crazy. Ooh, that's nice. I got a little bit of that pink on there from when I just touched that up. A little pink on the brush. Mixed in there with that magenta. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Let's see if that looks like on here. Just a tad. Ooh. That gives a very real brick flavor to it. Yeah. So it's giving it a little spice there. You know. That's like a little, I don't know, a little tap of how's your father there. That's nice. I don't have my headphones in tonight, so I won't be bopping and waving. At least not to start. I gotta give them a charge first. Alright. As I said, bear with me here. These past few days have been absolutely madness around here as far as traffic goes. I think I said Monday we had a hard rainstorm in the morning that just fucked everything up. It took 2.5 hours to get into work, and the commute home was its normal, terrible, shitty self. But then the yesterday morning, or yesterday afternoon on the way home, actually about an hour or so before I was supposed to leave, maybe 2 hours, a tractor trailer carrying propane overturned right as the Blue Route, I-476, merges back onto 95 northbound. So the Blue Route was closed at exit 3. 95 was closed from, I believe, Prospect Park all the way down to 320. Was that Commodore Barry? All right, it's Commodore Barry, right? Anybody from, my brain's not working right anymore. So basically, normal highway traffic that is regularly garbage was forced into like every side street in Delco. And that was as fucking terrible as you could possibly imagine. It was and the best part of it was my Google Maps was trying to kick me back onto the Blue Route. It guided me all this way around, it told me to get off on exit 5, which is Route 1. Guided me around State Road and these back ways through Media, and then as we get into Baltimore Pike, about the I'm assuming go through. I was assuming it's going to direct me down like 320 or whatever down Springfield. Not 320. It's like Sproul Road. I was assuming that's what it was going to give me, and I'm sitting there and it starts trying to tell me to get back onto the blue route on exit 3. And I'm like, I can't. You don't understand Google Maps. I started turning into like John Cleese is what I've been telling people, like, from the parrot sketch, like the blue route is no more. This blue route is deceased. Like that's really what it became. I'm screaming at my phone basically, just telling it to shut the fuck up. So it was a fun day overall. And then today, for whatever God knows reason, it was perfectly bright out, nice and sunny. Weather wasn't bad at all. Drove with the windows down a little bit. But the reason I drove my windows down a little bit was because I was doing about 10 miles an hour on the blue route for no particular reason. Other than my running theory is that people were sexually aroused. Like, somebody's got a weird kink by the traffic yesterday, and they just decided they were going to replicate it and get themselves off again. That's my going theory. I think it sounds pretty sound. Alright, let's see here. That was that kind of pinkish gray we made here. We want to make sure that gets a little bit more variety in there. That's the keystone, baby. That should have its moments to itself, Yeah, this all the little stuff's hardened up on me. Shit. No one to blame but myself. Alright, let's see what we get out of this. Just wanted to have a little touch of its fame. Yeah. Alright, that should give me a nice little in between. There he's got nice little bits of a little flavor in there again. Just a touch, bring it up a little. I can try to get it to stand out from shit around it. There's lots of little wavering tones in there that we want to work with. As I said before, if you're curious at all, or if you're planning on ever painting along at some point, or like I said, probably will blow right past me because I'm so damn slow anymore. The original photo that I'd taken for this area is in the stream chat, I believe, or page. What the hell do they call it? What do they call it on here? Channel feed. On the channel feed. So you can download it, go to the imager, download the original. Excuse me. I might call it quits a little early tonight, I'll be honest, because, again, I've been drained. We'll see how it goes. I would really like to finish this bridge today. That would be a very nice thing to do. Yeah, at least the front part. If the back's got to stay, or the top, that's whatever. I'd like to get the big chunk of this done. Get that kind of, that dirty. Still in focus. This thing's been screwy with me already today. I had it all lined up, and then I switched pages. No, it's not. Okay, good. It's good to see. Everybody prepare for the sickness. really, really, really hope that when I do finally submit this paperwork for the Stobart Foundation here, that they maybe see what I'm trying to do and understand that I just don't have the funds to do the proper job for it. Make this thing what I think it could be. Not the start, at least, you know. I have a feeling there's potential here. For what this channel could do. I think my biggest concern for what I would want this channel to be versus what it, you know, where it may falter would be the potential for, as if it were to start gaining a little bit of an audience, for people to start getting you know, toxic when it comes to eventually doing critiques and stuff on here. Just because, unfortunately, there's always trolls. I'll do my damnedest to keep them out, but I very well may be able to actually add a little painting time Friday, so I might have a little extra show on here, a little, you know, maybe an hour or so Friday, because I'm actually getting to work from home this Friday because of a doctor's appointment I have right in the middle of the day. So I was like, I either work from home or I gotta take a half day, you know, because my commute is so long, and I know if I don't give myself 2 hours to get from work to my doctor's, that I know that an incident like yesterday, where the, you know, propane truck or some weird ass bullshit will happen and keep me from being able to get there on time. So I was like, you know, so my boss is just like, go ahead. I was like, all right, good. Yeah, it's funny though, because it's like, you know, like not in a haha way, more of a way. We like this whole area where I live just seems to have been going through some wacky bullshit recently. There's a shopping center near us now. I guess I should preface this with, there's a gentleman in our town that pretty much owns like all the major business real estate. Okay. It's kind of important to know. Now, his family has pretty much done that for a while now. They've run the game for a long time. And let's see, we got a little cobalt violet, a little cobalt blue. Let's see what we get out of this. A little titanium in there again. I'll get something like, get something chunky, if that makes sense. Anyway, now his father used to have a hardware store, and after his father passed away, it had stayed there for years and years, uninhabited, boarded up, with all the old shit still in there. Okay, so there was old paints and old, you know, whatever. Thing was a fire trap and a half. And no matter what the township tried, they couldn't get him to take it down. You know. So for like probably 20 years, this damn thing sat there. You know what? I'm gonna throw something else in here to gray this up a little bit, make it dirty. Let's try a little orange. Give it like a brownish. Yeah, it's gonna work nicely. Nice and muddy color because it's it's some bricks, man. They're gonna be muddy. Anyway, so they finally got him to do it after God knows how long, and so they tear the place down. And now, right next to where this hardware store is, there was a newer, and it's not new, but it's newer than that place was, shopping center. Yeah, like strip mall, basically. Had a Papa John's in it, had a Staples, what the hell else is in there? There's a pet food store now. So it's got a bunch of weird, little stuff there. And because they tore down the old building, they have had an major infestation of rats and mice now that were probably living quite comfortably in the old man's hardware store for decades and now had no home anymore. So they found a new place right next door with a pet food, pet store with pet food in it, and pizza shop with, dough and all sorts of yummy stuff in there. So that's all been disgusting, and that's all kind of come to the limelight just this past week. And no sooner does that all happen, with the propane truck explosion thing going on. That's wacky. Nuts. Okay. We had that Southwest airline tragedy that just occurred. A woman almost got sucked out of the window and ended up dying. That whole thing. That's right at Philly Airport, not far from my home. So it's like, wow, that sucked. Propane truck, redirecting traffic literally everywhere it possibly could have. So it's just been a very, very weird and wacky week already. And I don't appreciate it. I'll be honest. Alright, so let's give this like some pop here. Let's just mix it in with some of those, and I don't even know what to really call that color. It's, we made it out of that pink with a little bit of blue. It comes across here with like almost like a bronzed out yellow ochre or something, but I think on the camera it looks very yellowy or very pinkish. I mean, it shows that pink base on it, which is very interesting. So we've got this color now. This, if you can see it right in here, probably not coming out very cleanly. It's got this funkiness to it, and I kind of like it. It comes across on the canvas here with a tint of like almost like an umber, or like a raw umber. Yeah, that seems to be close to what I'm thinking of. But the reason I didn't just pull that out, is I wanted it to have this, especially as it ages, I think you'll start to pick up on its base colors more. And I wanted to get that. I want to work with that idea that, perhaps we can get a little unique area going on beyond this. Who knows what it would look like in 100 years, kind of idea. If anybody's familiar with Van Gogh's bedroom, most people look at it and they think of it as a bluish room, and it is now. Now it is. But when Vincent painted it, it actually was very purple in tone. he mixed it with Red Matter Lake, I believe was the color, which has a very bad degradation. There's actually a lot of paintings where you may be looking at it, and again, as I've said many times on this show, in previous episodes of this, if you're not going to see stuff from prints. So on prints, you probably can't tell it at all. But even in person, some of these paintings, something may look very pale, very white or whatever, and it was not intended to be so. It had red lake matter in it. And I may be getting the color exactly wrong, but a red matter lake, that's the color, right? Whatever it is. My head's getting screwy again, sorry. And because of that, that color degraded, basically no longer shows up other than in tiny, tiny flecks. If they cut away part of the painting and take a dig at it, then they start to see it. Get a little bit of that over there, bring it back in here. So, I don't know how these paints will degrade over time. I don't think Vincent knew back then what his paints were going to end up doing. So, when you think about some of the stuff that you've seen in museums and stuff, you have to come to grips with the fact that what you see may actually be very far from what the artist had originally done. And that's okay. But if you actually read Van Gogh's letters about his bedroom, he talks about the violet. Talks about that violet in there. So it's clear that what he saw back then is not what we see now. That's kind of cool. I find that interesting. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you don't, fuck you. I'm not in the mood to argue. Which I clearly have illustrated by getting combative. Jesus. I'm really worn out. I apologize. I really am. I want to maintain my schedule as best I can. Trying to promote this production here, whatever you want to call it, is a major part of this attempt for the grant, and it's a major part of what I would use that grant money for. So I'm really trying to make sure that I'm giving an example of what this is expected to be, what I want this to be all about in the mix. So I suppose I should ask, who's excited about Infinity War? Only about a week away from that, right? Can't wait. I'm going to, because I don't go to movies on opening, except for Star Wars. That's the only one I'll break that rule for. And even this past time, my wife convinced me not to go for opening night. We went opening weekend, but we didn't go opening night for Star Wars. Kind of felt dirty. Won't lie. But this whole movie season is going to be terrible on my wallet. So that's all the movies that were due out, especially this summer. It's like, I can hear my wallet crying. I had some fun with my son last night, though. We saw an advertisement for Deadpool 2, and I was like, hey, Vincent, want to see Deadpool? And he's like, I can't. And I was like, that's right, you can't! Just to screw them. I like to keep my kids guessing. I don't know if I said it before on here, but I got a text message from my oldest daughter. She sends me a message saying, and she lives with her grandparents, and she sends me a message saying, hey, I ordered some stuff from Amazon. I ordered some clothes. Maybe it was from Amazon. But she said, I ordered some clothes. They're going to be coming to your house. Keep an eye out for me. And so I responded back to her, I hope they fit me. And she's like, no. And then she responds, it's underwear. I was like, I hope it fits me. And see, my daughter has known me long enough, her whole life, to know she can't be 100% sure that I didn't mean it. She can't be 100 and, percent absolutely certain that her father might open that package and try on whatever underwear she ordered. And then just stretch it all out and then tell her she's got to return it because it doesn't fit. That's important to mess with your children that way. And if people say, why would you do that? I will simply say in response, the world is going to fuck with your children. Remember that. You cannot, in the end, protect your children from getting fucked with when they grow up. Alright. It'll be their job screwing with them. It'll be, the guy delivering, their furniture, something, whatever. Something is going to fuck with them. And so you might as well try to prepare them for that. If they already expect the absurd, then the absurd can't surprise them. If anything comes through completely normal and doesn't fall under that absurdity level, then it's not a problem. That's the way I've always viewed things. That's why people always, they might give me shit because I'm a pessimist very often. I always expect shit to go wrong. Because 9 times out of 10, when it does, I'm okay with it. I shouldn't say I'm okay with it, but I've prepped for it, I have mentally, been ready for shit to go sideways. I tend to get pissed off at the fact that I was right. I will say that when that happens. But I was at least aware it was going to happen. That's a slight advantage. And I usually find myself in life in a place of disadvantage, so if I can grab a little spot, I'm grabbing it. Yeah, it's not really even there either. Okay, go on. Kind of screw around with this area too. So try not to go too super heavy in anything. I just wanted to kind of have a nice, popping around. We're gonna have this color here, slap it in there a little bit. So everything's got a touch of itself, or a touch of another part, Here a hint, there a hint, everywhere a hint, hint. Old MacDonald had a crackhead. And he said, yo, I suck your dick. think that's a movie that does not get enough love. If you have not watched Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood, that movie deserves a fucking shit ton of love. Take some more of this side. Get that green. I might drop in and out of here on occasion just to see how the Flyers are doing. I just mean I'll drop, switch over on my computer. So I might not be 100% checking on what's happening here. So if anybody's talking, which you're not because there's nobody here. And if you are and I can't see you, say hello. Like, comment, and subscribe. I do have these on YouTube. You may be watching it on YouTube. So I've been moving every time I finish up I click stop on this thing, I load it up, and almost immediately up to the YouTube channel as well. Surprise, surprise, Menace Art. That one does have actually clips of playing games and stuff on there too. Sometimes not always me. My son loads stuff up there too of him playing Fortnite and whatnot. Easiest way to tell the difference between what I've posted and what my son posted is I will have a full description of what I did or what I was thinking when I did a moving a game or whatever, and he just posts the title and sends it up. He also has a nasty habit of posting like a 10-minute clip, and he really only wanted to show you like a 10-second thing that happens right smack dab in the middle of it, and so it's kind of funny. Oh, we need to add it. There we go. I'll throw a little yellow ochre in here. We could probably grab some. I'm just looking at this thing. We might even be able to throw in some of the olive green, maybe a Viridian or two. Of these bricks. Old paint, man. Just rot out. Alright, I just need a touch. I don't need a lot. Oops. That one before. Let's get that. Actually, no, I'm thinking that might be a good one. If you're not familiar with oxide of chrome. Oxide of chromium. Oxide of chrome. Son of a bitch. I think that might do it. I think that might be what it is. This has some. It's a very, very green. It has a strong resemblance to kind of what's happening right in this area. But it just touched it a little bit with anything else, and it gets you a nice grade green out of it, and I think that'll work for fitting in with all this stuff. Alright, now what I want to do, let's grab some of that yellow ochre, but it's too bright on its own, so we're going to grab that. Let's see here, actually I'm going to take some of the oxide of green, oxide chrome. Green, throw that in there. That's not too bad, we're getting there. I'm going to darken it up a little bit too. But I want to darken it and keep it in that browny angle. So what we're going to do is take just some scrapes of that cobalt violet hue. So this being as a hue, it's already got multiple mixtures in it, you know. So in itself, once you start mixing it, you can potentially end up mixing a color you don't want because it's got this, hints of other stuff in there. And for like an example, let's say you're mixing it with some cerulean blue or something like that, and even still, if you're using a cerulean blue hue, anytime you're using hues, at least out of the Winsor Newton ones, that you're talking about having a mixture. You're talking about something that's already gotten polluted with other colors to make that tone. And that means that once you start screwing around and you're starting to mix some of this stuff together, you would think, okay, I got purple, I got blue, so it's going to get a blue, much more blue, purple, more indigo kind of tone going on there. But you may end up with a very muddy color because the stuff that was used to mix that all together and get that cerulean-esque color and that cobalt violet-esque color, it can cause some issues. Let's put it that way. It has in the past with me caused issues that caused me to throw an easel across the room. Again, that was in my much more angrier youth days. Nowadays I fix things, but back then it was like if something got fucked up, just hurl it across the room. And I wonder why the people at the University of Arts did not like me. I don't wonder that. I know why. I'm okay with it. I came to terms with myself a long time ago. I kind of give myself a la the Captain Jack Sparrow bit about an honest man versus a dishonest man. I give myself that kind of in a similar regards to, I'm an asshole. I know I'm an asshole. Because of that, I've got a little edge on other assholes. And the fact that when you're dealing with me, I'll be open to admit to you that I'm an asshole. And so you can prepare to deal with an asshole. And, I also tend to try, at least, knowing I'm an asshole, to temper that asshole nature of myself. That's probably why it bothers me so much when my customers are assholes. It's like, can you at least put some effort into not being an asshole before you're an asshole? You know what I mean? If you at least try not to be a douchebag, I might respect you a little more. I'm getting actually a funky mixture here. I was just trying to pick up some of the extra medium that's been running off from the other colors. But I'm getting something nice over here. It's a happy little accident. like when you accidentally shit yourself, but you didn't want anybody to sit next to you anyway, so it kind of worked out. Never done that, I swear. And see this, putting this color in here, especially now, this yellow ochre mixture. Now, if you look at it on the palette versus what it comes up on the canvas, it doesn't look as bright as it does on the canvas. Part of that being the fact that I am using this, you know, purple bluish tone, more blue. So any hint, any touch of that, yellowish color will pop right out, which works very nicely here. Oh, you know what else we could use in this area? I'm just thinking of all these different colors I could throw in here that make this really, you know, have this element of, you know, old construction of not everything's going to match, not everything's going to be, you know, uniformed and perfect. I'm thinking a little alizarin crimson might help us out too. Party wants to default to carmine, but I've been going hard on carmine for a while now. I think I should give it, you know, just a little bit of space. Let it, you know, rediscover itself a little. You know, it's not carmine, it's me, you know. It's been a weird, wacky day. Sorry, I know it's coming across and me talking about breaking up with paints. Coffee. Anyway, get it, big boy. Oh, you meant I want a cup of coffee. Yeah, because I think if I touch a little bit of the alizarin crimson, this magenta tone, I like this tone. I like what I got out of it, but it on its own is, I think, too much. I think it needs a little hello, you know. Again, that idea of a little how's your father. See, I'm trying to, as I'm putting in just a few of these touches into these, especially some of these darker ones now. I'm trying, and I don't know the name, like the types of rocks. I'm no geologist in any way, shape, or form. But I'm just thinking to myself, when I was a kid, I had my family had you know, the end property of a series of row homes, you know, that had a shared driveway, entranceway, and we had a wall that went along that driveway, and it was very similar to this type of rock construction. I mean, eventually got replaced, but I'm thinking back to that type of wall. I remember there was types of rocks in there that had like a glistening element to it, and so I'm trying to add that into this to see if I can get that. You know, if you were to get close to those rocks, you'd see a lot of crazy little colors and you know, flecks of reflective whatever. I don't even know what was in there. So I said, I'm no geologist, so maybe my geologist friends can interpret what the hell I'm saying and maybe figure it out. Probably not though, because I'm a moron. But I'm trying to get that idea into this if I can, and we just put a little bit of this magenta tone, just like glazing over it, not even like hitting it hard, you know. I think it gets something. And then like here too. That's nice there. Give that element a nice job of take too. A little bit of that, just a touch. Get some mixtures, some funkiness in there. Ooh, that's actually nice. Because we're gonna actually add in some like moss and stuff on here too. There's lots of moss growing all over this area, so we can actually just kind of pre-tap that a little. Oh, that's really nice. I like that. All right, it's after 9. I gotta go say goodnight to my kitties. So I'll be back in a few. Okay, chat. Hello. Okay. Oh, maybe I'm searching something. I'll get this shit right one day. There we go. Let's put it here. There we go. Anybody saying hello? Nothing's changed, so I don't think anybody's gonna mind. Pull these bad boys out. Throw on some music. A little chocolate. Make myself feel a little better. Let's see how our fly boys are doing. Yeah, we're losing last I checked. That was a while ago. Oh, fuck me. Yep. Odds are growing increasingly high that my son and I will not be going to Game 6 because I don't think there's going to be a Game 6. The Flyers have once again forgotten they are actually in the playoffs. Alright, what do I want to hear tonight? You know what? Let's look at me in a good mood. Perhaps one of the greatest soundtracks ever. It's funny, when it first came out, it's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I thought it wasn't as good as the first one, but this one has really grown on me. In ways I don't think the first one really did. I haven't quite figured out where it really clicked over for me, but damn, it's a good album. Oops. Whoops. Alright, I don't think I'm allowed to do that, so let's get this set up right. I thought I had it already done. Oh, you know what? I know why. Duh. Helps if we turn them on first. Alright. I am smart. SMRT. Alrighty. Sounds like they're already connected, but I want to be 100% sure before I start. Wait, not that one. Devices. Bluetooth. Yes, connected, yes. That's good, yeah? There we go. Okay, more volume out of it. No, it's just let it go. There ain't a cloud in sight. It stopped raining. Oh, I can get more volume. Okay. Don't you know it's a beautiful new day? Hey, hey. See how the sun shines brightly. It's out of focus again, isn't it? Fucking piece of shit. God damn, Mr. Blue Skies. You had to hide away for so long. We go round. Alright. What did I say earlier? I said I wanted some alizarin, right? Where the hell did I have my alizarin? Hold on. I think it's way over there. Yeah, there it is. Let's get rid of the old shit first. You with the pretty face. Welcome to the human race. Mr. Blue Skies, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. And we go wrong. I am Mr. Blue. I'm sorry, there's an email I've been waiting for a very long time. They were supposed to send this to me a week ago. Fuck. I'm going to pause this for a second because I want to get it out of my head first. So, I've been waiting on this automat open call thing I submitted to, and just got the email after. They were supposed to announce this a week ago on the 11th. They had extended the deadline from the 4th, which I honestly, the moment they said extended deadline, I immediately thought I'm not in. So I'm not, needless to say. So you tell from my disappointment. It just sucks. This is like, yeah. I don't know how to put it. Because I don't want to come off. I'm just at a point where I don't need to sell anything. I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be great. But I'd really, really, really like to have opportunities to expand the audience for my work. And now you may think that should be directly related, but they're not. Like I said, I don't actually need to sell anything. This is bothering me because this should have been done a while ago and I didn't do it. I'm going to do this. It's going to have a greenish tint because it's going to have reflections of the water. They are technically independent of each other. You don't necessarily have to sell to raise awareness of your work. You know what I mean? Look, if this channel takes off, it does the same thing. But so far, I get like one viewer a night. So that hasn't exactly been panning out very well for me. Nobody's even biting based off of my Rocket League name actually having twitch.tv/Metasart on it. Nobody's really going for it. No, like that. For the most part, the general attention that I've ever gotten out of my work, especially since I started painting again last year, has almost been exclusively from friends and family. And while I appreciate their love and support, it is at a point now where I need to be getting the attention of other people. I need to be finding an audience that isn't my mother buying my prints. I need to get to a point where you have an idea that potentially one or two pieces might find their way into the right hands to be somewhere else in the world than where I am now. I don't have to be and I don't mean like that I want to get to the point where I even seen the success technically of my own work.
I really don't care. Um, like I said, I'm not looking per se. Yeah, I'm trying to make this clear. Like I'm not looking to sell out. I am not looking to, be selling paintings for six figures or any other horse shit. Honestly, if stuff like that started happening, I'd likely think myself a failure. I'd likely think that it means I'm going back to previous episodes. I talked about being pop culture uh, oriented versus and popular to the masses versus doing something I think that's harder. And I'm trying to do something that's harder. And I understand that that means likely success, quote unquote, is not something I will see while I'm living. And that's okay. I came to terms with that a long time ago. But I've been hoping that at least, I can get into a gallery or somewhere that's not just a mom and pop coffee shop. That's not just, someone that I know or, picking up something. I want to. I want to know that there's a chance that this stuff will have an impact later. And like I said, I can get that result by just getting a little expansion of an audience. Just getting into, a juried show or being part of a group show or something like that. That's not like say, look, I'm trying. I don't want to make it sound like I'm knocking the Chester County Artists Association. I'm not. I'm very thankful they took me on as a member. But it's like as a member, I pretty much guaranteed a spot in their excellent gallery. I don't have to really worry about that. There's no. There's no movement in the direction I'm talking about here. Of stretching beyond my current norms. Does this make sense? There's nobody here. What the fuck am I asking? It's only proving my point that I'm not doing it. And it's one of these things I have to remind myself certain factors that I really should keep in my head more often than I do. Like, again, some of them kind of work against me because of the way my head works. Like, I want to try to remind myself that, look, I have technically sold more works than my master has. I've sold works. I sold a drawing to Widener University's, I think it was their sociology department. I've sold. I sold two paintings, I think, at my last show, which was, God, like 5 years ago. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably about 4 or 5 years. About 5 years ago, because Sophia was little. So maybe two at best, so it might have been 6. Anybody that was at that opening, please remind me. but actually, I think it was about 5.5. I think it was December of 2012. And I have to remind myself that these little factors. Technically, when I won the Roman Haas Award, technically they bought a painting for $4,500. So I've sold paintings. I have sold more. I sold a painting at the Media Arts Festival in 2000, right after graduating. It's a painting I didn't want to sell because it was something I held very close to me, but I wasn't getting the offer, so I sold it just to make up the money for paying for the table. So I have to keep that in my head that there are a few of my works floating around that I don't know where they are. I know where one or two of them are, but I don't know where some of the other ones who bought them or anything like that. I guess it's just part of me is thinking to myself, maybe I should include a link here. Not that I don't know. On my Facebook page, where I've been working for years now, prior to trying to start this up, I have been posting all my works and everything, and really the stuff I've been doing since March of last year, since March 2017. Personally, on just a level of me thinking about my stuff. Now again, I have a weird love-hate relationship with my work. Usually I'll finish something, and as soon as I finish it, I despise it. Like I might like it for like the day I finish it. I might look and go, okay, that's a good piece, and then I move on, and like the next day I despise the damn thing. But that being said, there have been probably 4 pieces. I'll say 4 pieces that I've done since March of 2017 that I truly believe are some of the best works I've ever done. Does it mean I like them? That's another story. But I still cannot seem to get an audience with them. That would be my tulips, which was the first piece that I had done in 3 years. So that's the one I did in March last year. And the next would probably be my cave, my view of Luray Caverns. Mostly because I've never seen anything else quite like it. You can't find, I think, an old master work that looks like that. It's just, I've never seen. If somebody has, but I've said many times, by all goddamn means, send it to me. It'd give me inspiration to somewhere else I could look. But if you go over to the Facebook page, which is Brian Coates Paintings, you can find these, and I'm telling you, I think those were 2 pieces that just, there was a lot going on in them creatively, and I do think they were solid pieces. The next one on that list would probably be, the other 2 are definitely they're studies. One would be The Last Breath, and the other would be I'm saying it wrong because I know I'm saying it in the American version, but it's like Asakusa Tanbo Tori no Machinud, which is a copy of Irishigi. And it's just it's a nice, quiet piece. It's funny because if you compare it to, say, something like my study of The Last Breath is it's not a monster as far as size goes. I mean, it's a good size painting. It's 19 by 30, I think, 33 maybe. I have to look it up again. I forget exactly. But it was a monster of work, and it was a monster of like any bit of artistic training I had to use every last piece of it to make that painting work, and it works. It works on so many levels. So it makes it like ultra disappointing to me that I can't seem to break down that barrier right now into getting into the next larger world, so to speak. Use that term a lot, don't I, so to speak. That definitely sucks. Switch out here for a second. Because now Guardians is no longer the right soundtrack to listen to. Jesus, this day couldn't really get more depressing, could it? Now I think about it. Flyers apparently look like shit, what I can see. So they're losing their asses right now. I don't get into the gallery I wanted to. This coming just a few days after finding out that I'd not get chosen for the Woodmere Art Gallery. I really thought I would get one of them, I'll be honest. That's what's really heartbreaking. I didn't think I was getting both, but I figured I could grab one of them. So. This will tell me it popped in. Well, I don't think it does. Somebody's in here. So I'll throw this out in the universe. That's done me fuck all good net so far. If you come across this video or you come across this channel right now or you come across this on YouTube or whatever,
please start following this so I can get it to be what I want it to be. Like I said, to hopefully teach people. Right now, I'm still chatting about my own bullshit because I don't know what else to talk about right now. I mean, I try to bring this up when I can, talk what I'm doing, but I feel stupid talking to myself. Um, this is that alizarin crimson I was talking about. So it's just nice. Couple nice spots of it, I think, will do very wonders for us. It's a very versatile color. Mix a little shit into it, and it'll change all sorts of tones for you. A wonderful blood red color to it, but just tap a bit of cobalt in there, and a little anything else, and it'll just give you a nice chunk. I did not expect to end up here on music-wise tonight like this. Maybe I should have been aware of it. I'm currently listening to it's Hilary Hahn plays Bach. I was actually listening to her album Retrospective all day today, just trying to. Well, I listened to that and Violins of Voice. So maybe it just was a day for violin. I don't know. I assumed I needed it at work because I was in a very good mood, but I figured once I left that hellhole, I'd be okay to move on. But clearly I was wrong. I adore Bach. If you listen to all the other shit I listen to, you'd be like, "How the hell are you listening to it?" Yeah. Like the other night, listening to Parliament, and how do I jump from Parliament to Bach? But I do all the time. And I've had Bach's cello suites on my iPod for years. It came from a CD that I had burned on, to load it up to the iTunes. And I pulled it out quite often. I used to use it a lot. But this is something else. This is something entirely different. The violin, the way she plays it, Jesus Christ, it's amazing. I know I've mentioned in other videos. I don't remember if I mentioned it on this channel or not. There was one painting I did around December that I could not focus on as hard as I tried to, which was kind of ironic because the painting was of a hill near my way home, or that's on my way home, that I usually stop at. I can usually kind of give me a little sense of peace of mind when I stop there, because just the way that the road is set up at that exact spot, I going southbound am a little elevated compared to the people going northbound. So I can look up this hill that's on the northbound side, and it's unobstructed, really. Um, and I seem to stop there most days. Of course, like on a day like today, when I had a crazy long ass drive home, I didn't stop there. I don't know, like whatever reason, traffic just kept flowing right past that point where really could have used it. But anyway, I took a photo of it last summer, and I was intending, I wanted to do a painting of it, and I had intended to do it in winter because I wanted to find that touch of green at a time when I really don't get to see it. I figured I was going to need that little extra bump. But when it came time to do the painting, the irony of it. Now, as I said, this is a place I would find a little rest on my way home, and usually it was in that moment, the 20 seconds I got to look at this thing, if that, that I was able to normally leave my day behind me. But this past December, I really was having trouble doing that. And so I'd come home, and the shitty stuff that happened at work was still in my head, and it was making it hard to work on this, kind of like today's been doing. And so I thought to myself I was going to break out the big guns and I was going to put it on my Bach. And then I was like, but I've had those cello suites for years. I was like, shit, man, I want something different. I want something fresher. And I'd actually seen an advertisement that day for Hillier Hahn being the artist in residence at Philadelphia. And I was like, oh, who the hell's that? Let me go take a look. I should say, I searched Bach on Amazon Music, and there's her name. So I'd seen her advertised earlier that day, and I was like, oh, all right, well, let's find out what this is about. It was our artist in residence. Let me learn something. And so I put it on, and I'm telling you that I can remember listening to this album, which is Hilary Hahn Plays Bach. It was like one of her first albums. I remember listening to it for the first time. I do not remember painting while listening to it for the first time. I was like in like almost like a hypnotic state. It was, the car was driving, but nobody was behind the wheel. Scenario going on there. And so it ended up, album ends, and I kind of, for lack of a better term, come to. And I'm like, oh shit, there's more stuff on the canvas than there was. Son of a bitch. So I went digging some more. I was like, alright, let me see what else she's got. And so I tapped into Violin and Voice, which is another box set up, and I have a weird thing for German sopranos. I've said that many times. I don't speak a fucking ounce of German, but a German soprano singing is just like the bee's knees to me. So there's, this Violin and Voice, which is this amazing violinist playing along to German operatic singers. A tenor, male, which was like, okay, it's okay. I'm sure he's fantastic, but I'm just trying to put it in perspective of how I react to it. It's like, okay, it's good. But then it was Christine Schaaf, I think is her name, was the soprano. And it was like, I vanished again, sort of. Went back here somewhere, hiding back here, and came back to when the album ended, and there's more paint on the canvas than there was before. And I had no nothing that would bear a resemblance to cognitive memory of what the hell had happened, so to speak, of what I had done. And this continued until the very end of that painting. Every day I would put it on. The only one acceptance I have is my buddy Bill came over at one point while I was working on it, and I do remember talking to him. I had her stuff going, so that day I was a little more in charge. But for the most part, 90% of that painting, I would say, I was still okay with the sky before I started listening to it. So we'll say 80% of that painting. I don't attribute to me anymore. Like I have mentally disconnected from that painting. To the point that I don't know what to do with it. It's not mine to sell. I don't believe that. It's not mine to show. I'm likely, when I can afford it, just going to send it to her agents or whatever in New York. And just be like, get it to her, tell her she can do whatever the hell she wants with it. If she likes it, hang it. She doesn't like it, fucking burn it. I don't care. Just want it out of my house. That sounds weird. Going back to that love-hate. But it's a decent painting. I don't think it's a bad painting. I don't want to put it that way. I think it's okay. I by obligation signed it, but I know it was my brush. I know it was my paints. I know that it's my canvas, but I don't feel like I did it. It probably sounds really, really weird to say it like that, but I just don't feel like I was connected to that painting, which is so very weird because it was something that I had picked as a personal planned spot. Like it's a place that has a meaning here to me as far as the actual subject matter goes, but when it came time to do it, I went elsewhere, in my head. Another funny bit about that painting too is before I started on it, I was actually almost in that same type of mindset, but I thought it was going to end up being sent to Modest Yahoo. I'm a big Modest Yahoo fan, and the painting does have like this fire imagery going in, especially in the sky. And the reason being is that when I did finally decide I was going to do a painting of this, I'd actually been listening to his album Live Like a Warrior, and there's a line in there about yesterday's gone, let it burn in a fire, something like that. Again, brain's not working right today. And so my mentality on it was, if I get this thing done, maybe I'll send it to him just as a gift because, hey, your song sort of inspired this. And just sort of along those lines. Literally, whatever. So I honestly, at this point, so I'm not selling canvases anywhere, it seems. They just end up piling up in my house. On occasion, my wife will, start hearing banging on the walls and come downstairs and wonder what the hell I'm doing. And it turns out I'm having to add another hookup because I need to put a canvas somewhere because I've run out of space in the studio to just leave them sitting, So I got to hang them up somewhere just to get rid of them out of this place.
So my theory was just like, oh, I'll send it to Modest, as a look. Just get this out of my house. Yeah, he sort of inspired it. That's fine, but that's not what. Like I said, then I completely mentally disconnected from it while making it. And now it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna end up sending it to this violinist that kept me working on it. That's going to be an interesting letter when I finally have to send it, though, because it's going to be like, look, I'm sending you a landscape, you know. Uh, Look, she's a recording artist. All musicians get shit sent to them like this all the time. I know, but it's usually stuff that like is fan art. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's a portrait of them at doing whatever they do, or you know, a copy of their album cover or something like that. This is going to be weird. It's going to be like, hey, I'm sending this random tree on a random hill off of I-476 because I don't think that's mine. I hold you responsible for the creation of it, so this is your problem. That's going to be an interesting letter. I'm debating handwriting it just this way she can't really read it all. Because my handwriting is atrocious. If I may go back to, as I'm rambling now, I truly do love Bach's music to the point that I've said many times I have no faith in a higher power or any idea of heaven or afterlife or anything like that. If such a place were to exist, I have to imagine Bach plays there. It's the only time there's an element of lifted spirits. Like if there is an afterlife related similar to the ideas of the say dogmatic version of Christian dogmatic version of heaven, and this concept of hell that they have as well, I would almost speculate one could cheat their way into getting into heaven by listening to Bach. Right before you die. You know what I mean? You've been a horrible sinner your whole life. Everything the Bible says not to do, you've done.
And as you're laying on your deathbed, instead of really praying for forgiveness or whatever, that's how you're viewing things. You throw on, you know, uh, what else to hear? Parrots at number 2 in D minor, and in that, there's some mournfulness in it. So if you don't ask for forgiveness, so to speak, it is the mourning of the soul that would allow it to occur. Like it's like a similar feeling. That's nice there. It's got a little moment. So just by putting a little touch of that into that same pinkish area. Yeah. Anybody else listen to classical music when they paint or draw or whatever the hell you do? Oh, that's a nice tone. It's a little cobalt blue with some of the leftover stuff we've had on our brush, so it's a nice slap of everything in there. It's a very Payne's gray color. It's nice. I'm gonna make some varying sizes of these blocks here. You know, it's your world, just playing it a little bit. Bring the ruckus. I'm about to bring the ruckus to all you motherfuckers. He must bring the ruckus to all you motherfuckers. Actually, it's kind of funny. I'm thinking about it now, but I don't think I can't remember the last time I actually listened to this album straight through. I listened to it a couple times straight through. I guess so. I'm guessing it was December. I made it part of my permanent music collection, which means it just sort of gets on my day-to-day work. I just hit shuffle on my Amazon Music and let it go. So it gets mixed in sometimes. You know, I'll go from, as I said, I'll go from classical right to like something else crazy. So I may go right from here to like Anthrax and Public Enemy, Bring the Noise, or trying to think of something else weird I have that, Missy Elliott right afterwards. Alright, we're definitely not getting this bridge tonight, as much as I wanted to. I am
running on empty here. This is such a slow go. I need to leave this on for the next few days or something. I don't know. And that news about the automatic collective thing just took the wind out of my sails. I really took the wind out. That sucks. And look, before anybody, if anybody ever sees this in reruns or whatever on this channel or on YouTube or whatever the hell, I get that there are huge other world issues at hand, and that by not getting into a fucking gallery is really fucking far low down on that list. It's just anyhow, it's not even top on the list of my things I gotta worry about, but let's put it this way. I guess my thing is right now, with everything kind of going on at my job and around here at the house, etc., I'm kind of looking for a win here. You know, I got to get something. One way or another, I gotta get a win somehow. I don't know where that's gonna fall now, where I get that, but I need to get one somewhere. Either now, like I've been applying to other places to try to get out of that shithole job, but no callbacks yet. And yeah, it's been a few days on a couple of them. So, and when I say a few days, I mean like a week and a half. Unlike my most recent one. So at this point, it's a dead horse. You know what I mean? Whatever ones I sent are all kaput. The kicking the ass being one of them was my old job, which should have been a done deal if I wanted it. Not to sound like an entitled ass, but it's like, dude, I was really good at that job. I really assumed I would just be, well, if ever I said something to them that I want it back, they would have just plopped it right back in my lap. I still know a lot of people that work there, so I figured that would have too. And it has so far done Jack Diddley Dick. So we're not getting the gallery, not getting the Woodmere. You know, I still got to send out this paperwork for this grant, and now my self-doubt is like through the fucking roof. So it makes me wonder, is it worth it? Should I even bother trying? I can't even get people that were on my Facebook page to come over to here just to watch. At least tune in pretty regularly over there. Won't come over here. So that's increasing doubt. Doubt's a horrible, horrible thing for someone that suffers from major depression. You know? A horrible thing. Puts my ass against, in a sling.
violin, not my piano. Let's see how badly the Flyers got their asses handed to them. It was 4-0 when I looked. Five nothing final. Fuck.
I'd have to be 5-0. Like, I'd have to be against this fucking team.
All fucking teams.
I'd go out in the first round. Go to somebody else. The fucking Penguins. Christ, it's like they want to piss off the Flyers fans. This is one of my favorites. Parata, number 2 in D minor, right? Yeah.
And I guess one of the things someone can talk a little more about the disappointment of tonight, and how I need to try to keep myself in a more positive outlook towards it, though, is I have to remember that a majority of the people that I've come to admire in various art forms mostly were unknown in their lives. A lot of box music was nearly lost to the world, but it was found historically as wrapping paper for fish, like at a fish market. And so this music that I couldn't get along with without having at least the ability to put on occasion. Uh, would not even be if somebody just hadn't noticed the notes. I think it was the Mass in B minor. I want to say it was something like that. That was discovered and was like, holy shit, what the hell's this? And obviously we know, art history is never one to shy away from telling you the story about how Vincent never sold anything except for the one Red Vineyard painting in his lifetime. Like, damn. Any channel or whatever having an art history special will tell you that, you know. I am trying to capture a little something. Not exactly, if you've seen it, but I am trying to capture something that has a, we'll say, thematic uh, equivalency in my cave painting. Um, if you look, especially in the dark areas of that painting, there's a whole hell of a lot going on. It has a bunch of stuff just piled right on top of each other. And I'm kind of trying to get that same feeling out of, especially this area back here. Because you figure it's going to be a shadowy part of the of the bridge. You're going to have all these tones kind of laying right on top of each other as glimmers will reflect up from the water here. Again, giving it that, as we talk about regularly on here, this sense of vibration. Actually, as I'm listening to this piece specifically now, it has that, like a vibrato being played kind of thing. Uh, it's a good piece for this. I just want to be careful because I don't want to end up having another disconnect to a painting. I don't want to end up having to inundate Miss Han with a bunch of paintings that have no relation to each other. Just the words, look, this is mine. No, I probably will only say that one and I'll never do that again. It's just a matter of, like, I really don't feel connected to that one anymore. This one I'm still with. I've been with it for a long time, so I'm okay. Does anybody ever else get like that, though? You're doing something and you zone out and then, like, you're finishing, you're like, this isn't mine anymore. You know? You're just sort of like, It's not a very common feeling, I think. It's not something that would be regularly experienced by people. I imagine it could only be in someone doing something creative. Or you just sort of, at some point, find yourself, from one means or another, zoning out. Does that make kind of sense? I wasn't fucking watching. Let's see, I'm jabbing myself. I really should just project this stuff on the brick wall outside. So I'm trying to make sure I do get a good point of that alizarin crimson in here, because that's gonna, I think, have a heavy hand in the balance of this picture. I'm feeling it now. That's gonna be. In fact, I'm gonna start. Yeah, I think that's gonna help define this. Even though all the other colors may not exactly match this, I'm going to use this alizarin. It's kind of my outlining element for the inside-outside part of the cave here. Cave. Underpass to the bridge, you know. Here's where your trolls are fucking hiding. You know. Let's see what'll happen is you'll pick up on it as a viewer, and I, you know, I might do it. Yeah, you know, yeah, that's right. I'm feeling that. Let's pick it up and put it down here. It'll have a dividing element here, but at the same point, by contrasting, by being the complementary color to those greens, without being red, you know. I think it's a nice little element of world building. It'll probably pop up other places too. Like it's likely I'll choose it up here as well. That's so beautiful. And even when it goes right up against itself there, like it's very much the same tone. It has a slightest hint of standing out from itself. That's why I gotta be tricky because it's. I don't want to drop more linseed oil on this thing right now because I'm about to wrap this all up for the night. But the linseed oil is what will give it a smoother outlining. I think that looks nice. I'm actually going to go into that keystone too. Just to give that one an extra kick in the ass. And I wasn't worried about being super perfect archway, whatever, you know. I want this to feel that older sense of construction. I think I know it's only 8 minutes, but I think I'm wrapping it now. I just don't have it anymore in me. Exhausted. So we'll see what we can get done tomorrow night. I didn't expect this to be as slow and tedious as it's been. It's like that tree though. It's one of these element times where life is just working against me right now to try to get this done quickly. I mean, my God, I still have stuff up here I need to at least touch on. So there's, because there were like different colored leaves going on this overhang branch. So at this point now, I'm just hoping by the end of the day tomorrow, maybe we can have at least the darker blue finished up. And maybe if I can come in here on Friday, like I'm hoping, I can work into the lighter. Ugh. It's just a lot that feels off right now. I hope this doesn't end up being a canvas that I end up stabbing through it. It's a shame because this is all very nice up here. But I'm not. I'm losing the feeling of the bridge. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe it's just the hell I've been mentally going through for the past few days of the commute. Combined with work and stuff. Alright. Have a good night, guys. All me that's watching.